Okay, recording in progress. And we've got one on Zoom so far. And we've got Sari is coming in. Oh, that's right. Yeah. She saw me when coming off the printer. Welcome everybody. I think everybody knows who I am. But for people on Zoom, I'll say my name is Mike Carmody. I'm the principal broker here at the South Valley office. And I was asked to do a class on habits, and more specifically is, probably good habits we should have when it comes to real estate. Again, there's good, we all have good and bad habits, right? So I was told we have an hour today. What I wanted to do is I've got a handout, and I'll make sure that everybody's got one here. And I'm going to chat for a minute or two, and then I'm going to invite Michon and Hiram, kind of like panel style, to drill down into it. Okay, I asked them to come because I've gotten to know them as I've been here working, and I observe their habits and what they're doing to be successful in the real estate business. Okay, so that being said, I'm going to check in. Todd, I'm going to ask Todd to monitor. It looks like we've just got one on there on Zoom. Todd is volunteered to watch the Zoom. Okay. Everybody got a handout, and then Michon had a handout. This one that is titled The Power of Habits for Success in Real Estate. Okay, full disclaimer, ChatGPT is pretty cool. I put some ideas together, and it is it started with me, but there's no way. It would take me weeks to do this. What I want to get to is, okay, we got a handout. We can talk about what are habits, what should we be doing, but what I really want to spend the time on is when I have Michon and Hiram up here, just kind of peppering them. What is the, typical day of a real estate agent? What are some of these habits that we should be developing? A pattern of success, right? What are other people doing, right? Doesn't mean that that's what you have to do, but that's where I want to spend the time, and then we'll have some Q&A. So to start it, habits. Okay, the definition, I thought the automatic behaviors was the part that kind of got me. Automatic behaviors and routines that are triggered, excuse me, by specific cues. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. I do want to mention, though, in the second, they shape our productivity, mindset, and long-term success. The science behind habits, the habit loop, cue, routine, and reward. I don't want to dive into the habit why we do what we do. Okay, but you can Google that. I have a little handout up here. It looks something like this. Somebody at Harvard did it, but it's basically a cue, a routine, and a reward. If you really want to dive into your habits. Not going to spend a lot of time with that, but an overview of the class. Understand habits for real estate success. Learn how to develop positive habits and break unproductive ones, right? Because we've all agreed by now that we have some productive habits, and at least I'll speak for myself. I have some pretty unproductive habits. Okay, who in here hits the snooze button every morning like clockwork? Okay, not everybody.
Doesn't have an alarm.
Who doesn't have an alarm? Okay, we need to talk. Okay.
Does your body just wake you up?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Hey, so if you're lucky and you have that, but that's something as simple as, I have it when it goes off, that I know I'm going to hit it. I don't want my iPhone to remember to say that anything was like 8 minutes and 59 seconds or something like that, right? That's a habit. Good or bad, I don't know. I mean, if you set it for 10 o'clock in the morning, we probably should talk. Okay.
Hey, Mike, just FYI, there's no way to chat.
No way to chat. Okay. Okay, Zoomers, sorry. If you speak up, we will hear you though, because I have my disclaimer. If you know how to do it, that would be great. Okay. So little self-reflection, just as we're going through this class right here in section 2, what are your current habits? Write down good now, but take some of this information. Take a look at your habits, what you're doing right now. Chances are there's some good stuff in there, right? Okay, you know, pat yourself on the back. We're all probably doing some good things, and we got some things that need to change to help make us more productive. Okay, the impact of your current habits, how your habits are either propelling you forward or holding you back. What habits are aligned with your goals? What habits need adjustment? So how many of you have put together a business plan for 2025? I should see everybody's hand. Okay, a little side note, if you have one put together, I know some of you have gotten this, I'm not hiding it, it's not a secret meeting, but it's a grassroots meeting tomorrow at 10 o'clock, first Tuesday of every month, 10 a.m. in this room. If you have a business plan, come join this group. It's an accountability group. Okay? Because if you're like me, the reason why I created on this, most times I would spend November and December doing a great business plan. I would kick off first of the year, everything's great, but by March 1st, they ask me what my business plan is. It's usually in the third drawer from the top. Okay? Not every year, but purposely what I kind of lacked on that was some accountability. This past year for me was a little bit different. I took over as a broker after I am still selling real estate, but that was kind of a disruptor. My business plan kind of just went by the wayside, which is okay. I made that conscious decision to do that. But this year, I just need some help. I need accountability. I think it was somebody in a Matthew Ferry seminar years ago. Does anybody know what's the one thing you can do to assure that you hit your goals? Anybody venture a guess to that? What's the one thing you can do? Okay. Measure them. I like it. How about this one? Tell the world what you're going to do. Tell everybody what you're going to do. Do you think you'll be accountable to that goal if everybody knows it? Right? Okay. It's not the only thing, but that one struck me. Is most of us, myself included, I put together a great business plan and I got all these things I want to do, but I want to keep it to myself. I don't want to ask for help when I need it. I don't necessarily want to get in front of other people and say, hey, I have this goal at the end of the first quarter and I'm so far behind. I ain't following this business plan anymore. I'm just going to wing it. Okay. That's my experience with it. So when it comes to the goal tomorrow, 10 o'clock, we're going to meet once a month for about 30 minutes. And the goal is for the end of next year, next December, we can look at it. For me personally, I must say I at least looked at my business plan once a month during the year. So, okay. And with that, we're going to talk more about habits, right? Let's see. Habits of highly successful real estate agents. I thought ChatGTP did a really good job on this because, man, they nailed it. And it was some of my input on it. But talking about, and this is where, and I hope Hiram will get here, but I'm going to give him a minute or two. Are you really going to be on the spot? Okay. Habits of highly successful real estate agents. In fact, Michon, would you mind just maybe popping up and see if Hiram is up in his office for me? And then, thank you. Okay. The key daily habits to cultivate. Morning routine. Who has a morning routine? Show of hands. Okay. You all have a routine.
Follow the routine.
No, you have a routine, right? You're here, you did something this morning, whether or not it's the right routine or the most productive routine. Okay, so be thinking about this today. Why starting the day with this? Would anybody disagree with the power of your mornings? Taking a shower is important. But getting up and getting in the right mindset and having some habits or routines, whatever you want to call them, this class is about habits, but having the right habits. Does that mean everybody in this room has to get up at 4:45 and go to the gym? No. Okay. I'm not going to pigeonhole you. I ain't getting up at 4:45 and I certainly ain't going to the gym if I'm up that early. Okay. But have I, over the years, developed an earlier morning routine? Or habits? Absolutely. Do I do it every day? Absolutely not. But more often than not, I'm finding that if I get up and I get my headspace right, now, whether that's prayer, meditation, whatever you want to do, go into the gym, a combination of it. Tuesdays, it's a little different than Wednesdays. But for me, I learned a long time ago, as self-employed, I don't have a time clock to punch. I don't have a boss call me or, oh my gosh, am I going to be in trouble if I'm not in time. In fact, I got into real estate because I wanted who wanted the flexible schedule? Okay, yeah, I wanted that too. Okay, listen, you can earn that, but there is a time period, and if you're not new, or if you're new, get into the right habits. Okay, get a hold of your morning, and I suspect most of you could be done working by noon. Okay, then you have all the flexibility in the world, right? That flexibility, Mike Ferry told it to us, freedom comes through discipline. Freedom comes through discipline. Okay, that was the complete opposite I want. I didn't want a boss to talk to. I want to be able to do stuff on my terms. And when I was in my early 20s and single, I was not in the office at 8 o'clock in the morning. I was lucky to get there by noon. Okay, so I had to, once I started taking this seriously and looking at it and running it like a business, and hearing people like Mike Ferry talk about, freedom comes through discipline. Because really, I didn't want a flexible schedule. I wanted freedom to be able to do what I want when I want. But I knew if I got what I needed to get done early in the day, the rest of the day went great. And I can tell you, I'm in year 29 of real estate, it is very true. Okay. Question?
Have 30 days to do something.
I'm gonna have you. You might have to hit power.
Please get it done in 30 days. Give yourself 24 hours to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Done in 24 hours.
You will. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Setting your intention on it. Hit that power, hold that power button down. Lisa, if you don't mind, because that'll probably come on. Okay. So morning routine, daily prospecting, time blocking. Sorry. I should have done bigger print. Continuous learning, relationship building. I couldn't have said it any better than ChatGTP. Okay. They nailed it. It nailed it. Whoever that is that's running that AI there. But notice obviously starts with the morning routine. So does anybody in here have a morning routine they'd like to share? There you go.
Okay,
Tell
so
me who
my
you are first. So,
I'm Allison Bench.
okay.
I'm a newbie. I know most of your faces, so for my mornings, I have 6 kids and I have to be up before them. If I'm not up before them, the rest of the day is chaos. So I get up and I do a little exercise routine. It's not huge. I jump on my rebounder and then I do some weights. Sometimes I walk on my treadmill for 20 minutes and then I get ready, go on the morning huddle call, 8:30. By then I have to take my kids to work or to school. Then I do like a little preschool with my toddler. And then it's kind of an easygoing morning usually. So I have a lot of freedom where I spend from like 9 o'clock to noon. And a lot of that time I spend either calling people, meeting with people, or going on Facebook and social media. And then I try and spend about an hour on each specific thing. And I have an app called Focus and it helps me like with a timer. So if I'm on my phone, it's kind of got some, I don't know, binaural beat kind of music kind of stuff in the background. It helps me focus because I have ADD. So if any of you have that issue, that helps. And then I make sure that I eat a really healthy breakfast, a healthy lunch. And on weekends, I plan so that all of my meals for my family are taken care of. And just spending the time 2 or 3 hours in the weekend really helps with that. So
Wow.
hopefully that helps.
So preparation, weekend preparation. Hang on we'll just keep these as we've got a few questions coming up. Thank you, Allie. Please do, Todd.
So I would say to go along with the morning routine, but could be almost more important. This is what Emily does, is every night before as she's getting ready for bed, she journals about what she did the day of, and then she writes down what her top priorities for the following morning are, so that when she wakes up and she's getting ready, she knows exactly what is on her day's list. So she's not thinking about what to do the morning of. It's already been prepared and she's already thought about it and kind of mentally planned for it the night the night before.
Love that. Prior planning. Love it. All right, I'm going to play devil's advocate. We got to have some fun in this class. So back to Allie. But what if I don't want to do that? I don't want to get up early and I don't want to eat healthy. And I got enough time just to get to the office. I'll get to the office by 9. How do you guys, I do that some days. And the day just does not go that well. I'm usually out of focus by 11 o'clock, well, 10 o'clock. Okay. And then Todd, it's just easier. I don't want all that. I just want to be able to get up and do my thing every day. Right. How much time do you have to spend in the morning planning your day out? Make sense? Right. So I'm going back to my real estate brain I had when I was 24. I was like, don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do. So if you're resistant to some of this, be open to it. Okay. All right. What I want to do now, because I don't want to stand up, but you guys can read this stuff, right? So I want to bring Hiram up. He's here. Thanks for coming, buddy. And Michon, and kind of go into these categories and then a few questions about them. The real stuff. This is what real estate agents like myself should be doing every day, right? I'm going to bring the microphones up. So I'm going to give these guys actually, we're going to keep this one here in the center. And I'll give you guys shared microphone on it. So introduce yourself to us.
I am Michonne Jackson, and I've been on the Emily Hayes Homes team now for almost 3 months, I believe.
All right.
Hiram Rosebus, been here since 21. So yeah, it's come up on 4 years.
So 4 years in the business.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Fantastic. And Michonne, how long have you been in the business?
Well, let's see. First time I had my license was I had it for 3 years. Did 4 deals for friends. And that was from 07 to 10, I think. And got divorced, moved out of state, thought I'll never live in Utah again. So I didn't renew. And funny joke, here I am. And then when COVID hit, I was with American Airlines for years. And when COVID hit, they offered us some temporary leaves instead of laying us off. And I thought, I want to go back and get my license. I always loved the game of houses. I loved touring them. I loved having the magic key. But I never learned how to do the business. And so I was with KW 3.5 years ago, I think. So I have many people who are super dear to me here. And so coming back after 3.5 years of doing nothing but referrals and my own deals for my boyfriend, I never prospected, never made a call, never did anything like that. And so I'm so excited to be home and to find Emily and Todd and the team. It has lit a fire under me. It is literally feels like it flipped a switch and I am energized. I am chasing my dream and it's just been electric.
Nice. Awesome. Okay.
I am. Yeah, Claire and I are pretty much 2 out of 3 of the late nighters. We are the last ones out of the building every night. We
All right.
sound like mice in the building at night. I'm like, I know you're in there.
Hey, some people do better. If you're an evening person, work in the evening. Right? I asked them I gave some sample questions which kind of correlate with the handout on it. This habits of highly successful real estate agents, right? We'll talk about this morning routine. And so, Hiram, I'm going to ask you your daily habits as a productive real estate agent and entrepreneur.
Yeah. So I mean, let's be honest, it ebbs and flows. Success is never going to be perfectly straight. You're going to have downs, you're going to have ups and downs, like just like the stock market. You can look at it over 30 years and it goes up. You zoom in, you're always going to have that. So I kind of chuckled because it kind of depends. Like when I am successful, I'm doing, you know, the right things. When I'm not successful, I'm not doing the right things. You know, it's the habits are going to stack and they're going to compound on there. But when I'm being good and doing what I want to do, to your point, mornings. So there's a book that I started this like when I first did real estate. It's called The Miracle Morning for Millionaires.
Yes.
Killer book. It's so good. It's so good because you can even do like a 5-6 minute morning and it's better. But the gist of it is, you know, if you start your day right, you're going like today, for example, like I woke up on time, I went to the gym, I did everything I needed to hit my breakfast, I did everything perfectly, and today has been great. So point being is I try to whatever my fitness goals are for that, I try to get up on time and do that. I think the second that you wake up later than when you planned, you're already falling behind. You hit that snooze button too many times and you're already telling yourself that I'm not going to be productive today. I'm going to do it another day. And for whatever reason, you can hit that snooze button once and that usually just follows you the whole day. But when you wake up on time, you get your shower, you brush your teeth, and you get everything done on time, you're at the office and you're like, cool, like I succeeded everything here. You're just feeling, you're on a different vibration. And usually when you're on that, other people can feel. So for me, it's typically wake up, do my workout, eat my breakfast, shower, get here. And to your point, to Todd's point, it is nice having thinking like spending 15 minutes the night before on what you do want to get done, on what you're trying, like what you need to accomplish. What really started it too, there was called my little black book. It's called the Pursuit Journal. I went through like 5 or 6 of these. They're 6 months long. And basically talks about like what are your big goals, and then it breaks it down into monthly, and your 3 daily tasks, and then your 3 weekly tasks. And it got to the point where anytime I wrote something down in that book, it always came true. It always came true. First, it was small. Like my first goals was brush my teeth every morning for a week straight. Super simple, super small. And it was just one of those things that like it wasn't a habit that I was good at. So I want to make sure I was better at that. And I was wake up on time. And then it was this, and then it was this. And so once you have okay, I can wake up, I can do a 30-minute jog, brush my teeth, I can do everything normally. You can add the habits on top of each other. For me, the power of writing something down just helps a ton. But yeah, fail the plans, planning to fail. So
Okay,
15 minutes before and whatever in the morning.
I like that. So I heard something, but you don't do that every day.
No, I wish I did it
Yeah.
every day. And obviously there's times where, you know, it's either maybe I went out and I stayed out too late. Or, you know, there's showings early in the morning, so I don't have time for a workout or whatever it is. No, the mornings aren't always the best. And so that's sometimes it makes the mornings that you do succeed so much sweeter because you know you're a little pansy before and you failed and now you can buck up and do it. It makes it better. But yeah, I mean, definitely not always perfect, but when you have a full week or a full month of perfection, like you're mentally good, you're physically good, and the money is coming in, or like things are flowing. And I don't know. I think real estate's freaking hard to get that initial push. And I mean, I would say there's definitely different levels of momentum. Someone has it as an analogy of pushing a car. Once a car is pushed, like pushing the car, getting it to start rolling is kind of hard. But once it's actually moving, you can keep going. But as soon as you hit that snooze button, you start sleeping in, that car gets stuck. And you've got to push it and get that momentum rolling again. So I think momentum's huge. And I mean, I wouldn't say until like 2.5 years, I would say things finally felt a lot easier in real estate. The first year was better. But there's definitely different levels of it. And as soon as, you know, oh, things are coming and flowing, I'm going to start hitting that snooze button a little bit more, a little bit more. That car starts getting harder and harder to push.
You get out of your habits.
Get out of your
But
habits.
you have the goal, right? But the reality is it doesn't happen every day. So I like to hear that because yeah, I think as a group, us entrepreneurs, which is what we are very hard on ourselves, right?
Yeah, it's actually fun to
Yeah.
watch some newer agents too, because they have that energy that
Yeah.
like I used to have. It's still there. It's not there every day as much. But like when you're hyped, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna make 100 grand this year. Like I'm going to, you know, it's fun. And then once you've achieved it, it's not as satisfying. And so it's easier to start hitting that snooze button. So just having that, because, you know, having that discipline it's hard to be consistent with year after year.
It is. It is. Good. Thank you. So, Michonne, to ask you that same, your daily habits as a productive real estate agent. Now, I'd like to, because this is Hiram is an individual agent. Michonne happens to be on a team, one of our teams here in the office, the Emily Hayes team. So maybe you could add in a little bit of perspective that where the team is beneficial.
Okay, did everybody get my perfect day? Awesome.
I'll get them.
Thank you.
There's two there.
Okay, so first of all, my daily habits, just to let you know, my nickname with my father is Squirrel. And I've always been Squirrel. I've never asked him why, but he married my mom when I was 11, and I have the most amazing dad. So he's my rock. It's always been such a heartfelt thing for him to call me Squirrel. And here now I'm pushing 60 and I'm still Squirrel. And I love it. When I was thinking about this, and Mike asked us about our habits of how to be productive, these are my squirrels. And I fight these every single day. I have severe ADHD. And I see squirrels everywhere. If there's somebody sitting next to me making phone calls, I'm on their phone call and I'm not making mine. It's very, very tough. And so when Daylise walked in and she's like, "Oh, what are the chipmunks for?" So these are my squirrels. And so Daylise, you were the first one to see squirrels. You're not supposed to see squirrels. And if you do see squirrels, you've got to cage them. And so that is my thing, is that I really, multiple times a day, I have to do that. And if one of my tasks that day is to reach out to somebody on Facebook, my brain is all of a sudden scrolling. And I have had to start out loud telling myself off. And I've had to tell people on my team, if they see me out of my chair, say, "Get your butt back in your chair." I invite them to say that because I have such a hard time. I'm a spaz anyway. Years ago. And since then, I've had to teach myself a different way to learn. It just makes it harder for me, but I have to be my own teacher too. And I have to say, "Get your butt in your chair," because I go to where the fun is. I go to where the noise is. I go to where the sound is. So these things that I'm learning from Todd and Emily are the first time that I've ever time blocked, which is amazing for me. And I love that Mike asked us to do this, because who gets more out of it, the teacher or the students? Yes. So I'm so grateful. Because this year, that's one of my goals, is to get really, really a lot better with my time blocking and stick to my blocks. I'm good at blocking. I'm good at making my calendar look pretty, but to stick to those blocks and really get those calls done that I scheduled to do. The second page, so that's my perfect day. On these daily priorities, this would be your top 10. This is something that has helped me to do in the evening for the next day. What are my priorities for tomorrow? What's the most important to me? And if I can pick the top 3 out of my 10, I'll circle those. And those are my first things to get done the next day. And the other thing that Todd has taught me is the one thing. If there is just one thing that by the end of the day, I would feel like I won today. I think as real estate agents, we get to the end of our day and we're like, "Crap, I did not get this done. I wanted to get this done. I needed to get this done. I didn't get this done." What am I thinking? I totally failed today. No. We have to celebrate our wins. We have to celebrate. If there's one thing that we did great today, pat yourself on the back. You did great at that today. Up until I came, the time that I came on the team, because I had only referred and done my own things and my friends' things, I had never made, even when I did Bold here 3.5 years ago, they challenged us for the 100 calls. I thought I was going to die. 2.5 months ago, I walked onto this team and they were doing this silly 5,000 dial challenge. And I was so excited to be on this team. I'm like, I'll do it. I'll do it. And I stepped in, jumped in both feet, and Aaron and I on the team both accomplished that by the 31st of the year. And
Job.
I didn't die. I didn't die. And we both have so much business coming into the year. It's insane. But more than anything, it showed me I can do hard things and I can do things that are so uncomfortable. And that's part of my everyday. And now my goals, whether it's 100 calls a day, that's nothing. You know, it used to seem 100 in a week used to seem so insurmountable. And now it's just the things that we create as habits just get easier and easier and easier, and allow us to take that energy that we were putting towards that really hard thing that's no longer a hard thing. And then we can grow and develop and do other hard things until they get easier.
Excellent. Thank you. So before I move to the other question, what I heard from Hiram is more of a kind of on the morning routine, right? And then time blocking, having the time block. So take a look at your day. You can do it right now if you want, but we can finish this class off. But homework assignment for tonight, take a look at your average day. What are you doing? What are your habits? What time are you getting up? We've all heard it's, great. My outlook on it is I need to get up early enough. I need to get some, I call it prayer meditation time. I need to get some form of exercise, get some type of nourishment, and get my butt to the office, right? I can do that and I don't do that every day, and that's okay. I'm going to do it more days than not. But we do that, and then I like what you said, I can make my calendar look pretty. The next question I want to ask you guys is really specific, because most of us can do that, right? We can get up, we can develop some healthy routines or habits in the morning that will get us here. What habits have the most impact on your income? I want to drill down to that for even an experienced agent, for new agents.
Yeah,
What-
one thing I'm going to touch on the previous one thing that I think is kind of funny. I've seen people come in this industry and leave. People I've known, haven't known. One thing that's always interesting is people are more willing to give 40 hours a week to a giant corporation than they're willing to give 40 hours to themselves. Once you get comfortable, agents are not even putting in 40 hours a week. I'm guilty of that too, but it's hilarious that some people, I mean, it's not hilarious, maybe it's sad that some people, they'll put in 20 hours and then real estate's just not working out for them. So then they go get an hourly job and then they work more than they would have. So anyway, food for thought on there.
All right, so Hiram, I got up, I exercised this morning. I did some prayer meditation. I ate something healthy. I got here and I show up at the office by 8 o'clock. And I got everything time blocked on my calendar in the morning. And I've got, say, 2 hours of lead generation. What does that look like to you? Because income, what creates money? What habits do you
follow up? Man, the amount of money I've left on the table year after year, and I hate it. So what I actually started doing is I actually track every single one of my clients. And when I had this conversation where they said, oh, I'm already under contract, already sold, already did this, I put lead lost. And then at the end of the year, I see how many leads I lost and what their purchase price was and how much money left on the table. And there's times too, because it's hard, because it's like, well, I followed up. Well, did they answer? No. Okay. So you didn't really actually follow up. You called, you texted, but you didn't actually talk to that person. And that's what sucks. Cause sometimes you're like, well, I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to be buggy, but you just keep hitting that person at the wrong time. Following up is just the most important thing. And still to this day, I think I could always do better. Cause sometimes I'll reach out 3 times in a week. I still don't get a hold of them. And then there's times where, and sometimes it's impossible. There is one time I had like 37 between email, phone calls, text, and I was pretty religious, and they end up going to someone else. At that point, nothing I could have done. It is what it is. You're going to lose some. But when there's somewhere, you know, you were like, sometimes people are like, oh, well, I'm not quite ready. Give me a call in 6 months. Well, you call them in 6 months. Oh, we're actually already on the contract. Always call them sooner than when they actually think they need to. And if you haven't gotten a reply or you heard from them, it's not a true follow-up. So that's the most important thing. I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars by not following up. You're not going to get it every single one of them, but if you track how many you lose, it might be a little motivation.
Yeah,
Excellent. I like
that is definitely painful. I have so much money lost just in my own family because I've been a secret agent all this time. And because I've had a license for so long, I'm a private person anyway, so social media is not really my thing to post what I'm doing. So I've been a secret agent. And so I can't be mad at them for
Mhm.
using someone else because they don't even know what I'm doing. And so, and here I've been here almost 3 months, and a lot of people still don't know what I'm doing because I still haven't done social media. But that's my New Year's goal to actually quit worrying about what I look like and just get it out there, because
Okay.
they don't care what we look like. They just care what we can do for them. So
That's right. Okay. So I'm going to drill down a little bit more, but you're in here in the morning, you did all that, you got the perfect habits, all the great routines, and you're here and you show up. Money making, income driven activities. I mean, it's easy to say we just got to lead generate, right? But you know, your point with follow up, you got to generate leads.
the
right,
fortune's in the
to build-
follow-up.
Fortunes in the follow up.
There's nowhere else that the fortune comes from.
What does your morning look like? Is it cold calling? Is it social media?
Our mornings on the team consist of we do script practice every morning because we've got to practice on each other, not our clients. So so we do script practice, and then we do team power up. And we share our wins, and everybody gets pumped up to go and do their lead gen. And so then we do our lead generation for a couple hours.
Okay.
And for different people, it's different things. We have somebody on our team who is a LinkedIn queen and just rocks that and gets so many deals from that. And then, but for most of us, it's calling.
Okay.
It's calling right now. It's calling our sphere, because there's no better time than right now to wish everybody in your sphere Happy New Year and see what their plans are for 2025.
So prospecting, how many people in here run a sphere of influence business where their 100% of their business comes from their sphere? Okay. Anybody else, any other type of business? But so it's fair to say that sphere, right? Todd?
Some type of other pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
You're still looking at your 4 pillars, regardless of what they are, and that's your sphere and your, wherever that looks.
Mhm.
It's still the 4
Yeah.
pillars.
And that's what you guys are coming in. And Hiram, who are you talking to generate business?
I'm different. I'm different in the sense that I would rather spend money than time. So I do spend quite a bit of money on online leads because I like going golfing and setting an appointment for a showing the next day. Now it's hard because unlike referrals are great because for the most part, you don't have other sharks after them, where I do. So I would say 65 to 70% of my business counts for online leads. And I split that with the lender. We pay, a good chunk every month for that. So that's where a lot of that comes in. And so that's where my follow-up comes in a lot on there. I have certain days dedicated for other things. 3 days a week, it's online leads. And then there's the SOI days, the KSL, the Facebooks, everything like that. So basically I've structured how many deals I want to get, which is 36, where they're going to come from, and then how many days a week I need to focus on each one of those. Obviously the majority, has to dictate, where my time is being spent on there. So to answer your question, yeah, a lot of it's leads. And then I do like doing open houses. I know a lot of agents hate doing them, and they do suck. They're not a lot of times like they're flops. And so one thing I will say, one, if you're a new agent, do a ton of open houses. It gets you talking to people, and it just gets, I don't know, maybe some rust off, and gets you understand how to socialize them. Don't follow them around the open house. That's freaking annoying. No one likes that. But open houses can be great because those are people that are what I like, and what is kind of interesting. I know a lot of agents don't like doing them. I know people like to push them off to newer agents, which is fine. I still do open houses for other people because half the people that are coming in don't have an agent. These are people that are looking at a house to buy right now. One thing that's hard about SOI is, sure, maybe they want to buy a house at some point, but they don't know when. And those are, at the end of the day, we're farmers. We plant seeds. We have to nourish our crop. If we don't nourish them, they're going to die. You're not going to harvest them. What's nice about like open houses, they're looking to buy right now. So they're a lot closer to harvesting than maybe your cousin that just got married and they're looking to buy in 2 years from now. Because while it's great to have future business, you need something to feed yourself right now. I don't know what your question was. I'm just rambling at this
That's all right.
point.
That's good stuff. Yeah.
Rambling.
Just, I mean, there's habits all around that, right? But what I'm getting from you two, and we talked about this via email and the conversations with it, is you're probably not 100% of it every day, right? You talked about that. You admitted that, and which is great because I like that because I'm not the only one that fails. But I have a certain habits or routines that I try to follow every day. When I follow them,
Yeah, and systems too. So
the day goes better.
So sorry, I don't like command. I don't use command. I like to use Follow Boss, and then Follow Boss is a CRM company that makes a CRM. And what they do, I like. There's a lot, and command is very similar. But where I'm going at is, depending on where the lead comes from and where the source is, I have a whole action plan set up. So when I have a list of people to call, I didn't make that list. I mean, I kind of did. I put it inside of an action plan, and from there, it will dictate how that gets carried out. How often I send a text message, an email. So what's nice is I have my system in line where if a lead comes in, they get an automated text message, and then it goes on an email campaign, as well as how many times I have to give them a call. And depending where it's an open house, or like I have Friday home lists. So if people are actively looking, I send them homes on Friday. That's the best time to send houses. So I have these systems that create these tasks for me. So then I know who I need to follow up with and how far behind I am on these follow-ups. Like SOIs, I have a quarterly check-in. Once a quarter, I check in with my SOI. With my new builds, I have 11-month builder follow-up. So at 11 months, say, hey, you have 30 days to get your paint retouched up. Home anniversaries, birthdays. So I have all these follow-ups for my SOI online open house, wherever it comes from. And I have all these tasks. I'm behind New Year's. I have 55 undone tasks. So working on that, it was after Italy, that was about, like 108 or something. So having a system helps a lot because especially like you just don't know what to do. And then eventually, sure, you get 10 contacts, 50, 100. When you get like in the several hundreds, you start forgetting people, slip through the cracks. So if you don't have a system, you're gonna be like, oh, I didn't call this person. This is what I hated. I'd be like, oh, I didn't call this person in 2 or 3 months. And you call them, oh, I'm under contract. And I'm like, I need a system in place so I make sure leads don't slip through the crack on there. So I think having some sort of CRM that you like is super, super imperative. Without it, but having a spreadsheet is not going to work, at least in my opinion. Maybe it works for some people.
Yeah.
Not for me.
But that's all systematized.
It's all
So you do
systematized.
your morning routine and your habits, and you show up here, and you don't have to spend 2 hours trying to figure out who am I supposed to
No.
follow up with or call today.
Yeah, it's already
Yeah.
all done. So that
Yeah.
takes a lot of time. Systems are going to be massive. I really want an AI system where I can just have automated texts just being sent out soon.
We're getting there. Give
We'll
it
get
a
there.
year or two.
We'll get there.
Give it a year or two. So I'm gonna shift over to Michonne and then because I want to do some Q&A and stuff. What habits do you feel you need to develop to win at a high level?
For me, it's definitely the keeping my butt in the chair and making all the calls that I plan to make that day.
Cool.
And from there, that's going to get my appointments set for the week. And then follow up is my biggest priority this year, because from the follow up come the appointments, from the appointments come the listings, from the listings come the closings.
Got it.
So
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Perfect. Hiram, I'll ask that question. Habit do you feel you need to develop to win at a high level? You may already be doing it, but to develop
Yeah. I would say, yeah, consistency is a big thing. Because again, you're your own boss. Because when you go to a normal 9 to 5 job and they have your whole day planned out for you, what you're going to do. Now you're in charge of that. If you don't tell yourself what to do, you're not going to do anything. So planning and staying consistent and keeping your word, like what she said, like make the calls that you're going to do. I think is big. One thing, maybe don't bite off more than you can chew. If you can't do 100 calls in a day, maybe drop it down to what's one thing that's actually super hard to do for whatever reason is having 10 conversations about real estate every day. Try to do that. And it's crazy because you'll get a lot of doubt. Like it's sure you get dial tones and voicemails, but talking to 10 different people every day about real estate, it's pretty hard to do for a long period of time. And that's something where I was like, I don't know what to do. This is what I can do. If you ever don't know what to do, reverse engineer what not to do. Well, if I don't want to get healthy, I shouldn't go to the gym. I shouldn't eat healthy. I shouldn't move my body. And so reverse engineer it on the backside. What should I do to get healthy? I should move my body. I should eat healthier. Same with successful real estate agents. What should you not do what can you do to make sure you're not successful? I don't wake up on time. I don't make my calls. I don't do follow-ups. I don't set appointments. I don't talk to anybody new or add anybody to my database. So if you don't know what to do, figure out what you shouldn't do and do the exact
I
opposite.
like it.
That's an Alex
love it.
Hormozy.
Um, awesome. Okay, cool. Questions from you guys? One minute. Yeah. Yeah, just ask. Yeah.
So I'm curious, are you like running social media ads for leads? Are you paying a realtor.com or like
Yeah,
where are you
just
doing-
realtor and Zillows. So it's hard because there's lots of sharks out there and it's kind of expensive. But yeah, once you figure it out after a few years, it kind of works out. So yeah, I usually use realtor and Zillow.
Good.
As in just like how much I spend or what? Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah. So my acquisition cost is 1,200 last year per deal. So on average, I pay about $1,200 for one client. My average commission is $13,000. So it's a little over 10x my money on it. So yeah, it sucks to spend that much money, but it works for me because I'd rather spend the money than spend the time and I get to do whatever I want. Yeah. So it's like if I can would you spend $100,000 to make $1 million? Well, spending $100,000 sucks, but making 900 grand is great. So, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Colin?
Yeah. So thankfully my first year I had a backup net in. So I bought my house when I was young and then I rented it out to roommates. So it was a bachelor pad. So I, first year in real estate, I had like 6 months of savings and then I was living for free or in a sense because I had it rented out. So that was nice. First year was rough though. I think there was a period where I didn't make a dime for 6 months. That was tricky. My first year though, I mean, I think I made like 64 my first year. I was on a team. I think I did like, I don't know, 12 or something like that. So on the split. So I was honestly the first year was enough. And that's the hard thing too, is when you're going to be a part-time agent, it's harder to get the money, but when you have to know that you have to bet on yourself, and if you don't succeed, you're not going to get paid, that lights a fire underneath you. And so once you quitting my job was still one of the scariest things like ever, because usually you're used to having that consistent income of the $2,000 or $3,000 every single check. And then you turn that faucet off, and it's sketch for a while. It's sketch.
Yeah.
Basically lost 10 in your first year. And so the team did a little chaos. But you recovered really, really well. Your calls that I get to hear or did get to hear.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. Quick little background. When I first started, I actually first started as a solo agent. I was with my mom's brokerage, Utah Key, our old brokerage. Did one deal there, and then it was interesting because I asked for some help, and they're like, oh, you want to meet one-on-one? Well, now we're going to change your split to 50-50. I'm like, for one meeting once a week? And they just didn't have the systems to play. So I went to a few different areas, came here, loved that they had more systems for newer agents. And then I was on my solo for a little while, and then I was just prospecting by myself. And then there was this room with Cody and Kevin in it. And these guys were talking differently. They were strategically figuring out, this is during COVID where shit was crazy. And they were trying to figure out how to get deals under contract, because people were making anywhere from 8 to 12 offers before anything went under contract. And so anyway, they were strategizing, like the way that they talk was just a little bit different. And so I went to them. I was like, hey, like, I would love an opportunity to be on your team. Kevin's like, no, we're not taking anybody. Went to him again, trying to make friends with them. Like, I want to be on your team. They're like, no, we're still not taking anybody. And then became friends with Cody. I'm like, Cody, like, I could do this. I promise. Like, give me a shot. And so we sat down with Kev. And so the three of us, he was part of Wow House at the time. Anyway, yeah. So first 3 months, that's when Kev, took his own life. And that was kind of crazy because Cody was still fairly new. Cody was only an agent for like a year and a half, 2 years at that point. He did have sales for like 20 years in Verizon. Cody is just a freak. I think, he hit Realtor 500 his first year, and such an amazing guy. But yeah, Wow House is kind of crazy on that scenario, and a lot of my success was from Cody. So I mean, I give everything to him because he taught me how to negotiate and more than just fill in the blanks, because they're all about negotiating and strategizing it. And it's actually crazy. We had, I think, a 54% chance of all of our offers being made or being accepted first offer. So when most people are 8 to 10 to 12 offers, we rarely, only half the time we'd had to do 2. So, but we had like 9 to 12 different items on our addendum. So it was crazy, but yep.
Good deal. Good deal. Any other questions? Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank them for coming up. All right, I'm going to talk for another hour. You guys good? Oh, that's awesome. It just makes me feel like I need to do what I said, recommended you guys do, is take a look at my daily. Take a look at your habits, your routines. Tell us.
One of the best things I ever learned about morning routines in the various, podcasts and books that I've read about it is that your morning routine is not nearly as important as your evening routine. Kind of like going back to Emily writing the night before, that your success in your morning routine is definitely affected by your evening routine. So getting up on time is affected by what time you went to bed.
There you go.
And everything else that you do, are you just, working yourself to death or just goofing off until the last minute and then falling into bed and hoping you get some decent sleep? Or are you actually setting up the evening to be in a positive space so that you're going to sleep at a good time and you're getting the rest that you need? And when you wake up in the morning, you've already set up the night before how your morning's going to go. And that to me was actually, that was the turning point for me when I finally felt like mornings could work, was when I realized that if I had to do the evening before.
I love it.
And I was going to add, some years ago, I was like, I need to track more stuff. And Lori Erickson introduced me to some different things. And I'm just going to bring it up with these two sheets, which are really awesome. We have a machine up there that you can bind, like you could print 6 months of these, whatever that is, 180 sheets and put, or 50 or a month's worth, 30, 30, 30 for a month. But you could print these, one on the back, one on the front. So it's 30 sheets will give you the month, and put them in. We've got a spiral kind of thing upstairs by the copier, or there's a machine that will heat up the binder. Yeah. And it has a clear cover and a clear back. If you like this, or you want to make yourself a book of something, because tracking's everything. So when I don't track, I get half as much done. And when I'm tracking every day, and it feels good too, when you're like, I did that. And it's like the guidance, the directive piece, the list the night before, then the next morning, what is my big items today? Staying on target. Everything that talked about was really, really good.
Good deal. Good deal. Claire, did you have a?
Robin knows that I've done a lot of coaching with Darren Hardy. I probably don't need this, I can hear. But we have the Sunday planner too, which you can plan your week, and therefore it actually transfers to what needs to be kept every day. And for those of you, because I don't know whether you're still using your best year ever. There's some things out there where you've got tools where you really truly can track all of this immediately and really establish yourself as far as your success is concerned, because you're setting the intent.
I like it. So each of us individually, everybody might be a little bit different. Like Robin, my solution for you is the habit you need to do is tracking, right? So I suggest that for you because it sounds like it will make a difference. Hopefully today in talking about this, I want to just habits of highly successful real estate agents. So morning routine, daily prospecting, time blocking, continuous learning, and relationship building. One thought that I've been thinking that, and I think just being in real estate for a while, is I've had the habit that I have developed is I get okay with repetitious boredom. It's a habit that I would suggest you all adopt. Hiram, would you agree? We're doing a lot of the same stuff over and over in this business. I gotta tell you, there's days where it's just like snooze. I'm just like, all right, I gotta call another 10 people, but I can get into it. But it's something, it is a habit to get used to repetitious boredom. Michonne, when you're calling 100 people in a day, I'm assuming they probably do get a little bored with that, right? Day after day, week after week. But you have your ultimate goals, which are that payoff, right? And so take a look at that, see how you do with that. I've chased the squirrels too, not chipmunks, squirrels. I apologize. I was the one that saw it. I thought it was a chip on it. But these in a perfect world, right? But it's going to be a little bit different for everybody. I'm a strong believer in your mornings, and I like what Todd had said about that is I was actually thinking about it, and I actually do most of the day. There's a time at night where I actually will pull up and I look at my calendar, and it's not real involved. I can do it within a couple minutes. I could really get a handle on my day tomorrow. What's the big rock? What do I got to do first thing in the morning to make sure that I've got time cleared out for the, lead generation or broker responsibilities? So, Todd? Thank you.
Is one, and going back to what Hiram said earlier about working people, who want to be full-time agents, only 20 hours a week. I typically find there's two types of agents that I run into: the ones that only do 3 to 5 hours a day, and then the ones that do 12 plus hours a week or a day, but they don't do it with intention. Like, you don't have to work 12 hours a day. You don't. If you do it right and you do your work intentional, like Mike said earlier, you can be done by noon, right? Like, and you have that flexibility. It's all about, I can go ahead and make 100 phone calls in 2 hours just to make 100 phone calls. I'd rather, but I could be at the gym doing the same exact thing because I'm not going to get what I need out of those 100 phone calls. I just did it to make myself feel better. So you have to have the intention behind that. And the other one is consistency. If you do the same thing day in and night, there is no magic bullet in real estate.
There you go.
Everyone thinks there is. Everyone thinks, I'm going to go buy this. I'm going to go buy that. I'm going to go buy this new fancy system. And it just, if you really want to build a business that's going to last, it's boring. It's boring and it's hard.
There's hard work in this business, right? There is, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean you do anything but leave the car door open, leave it on, send them a picture, say thinking of you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at that point in time, you're still making sure that you're making that personal contact with something.
So I should be doing that instead of skiing, Claire? Good.
Set an intention and did it, you know, like 5 a day.
Yeah, we did too. We did too. And it's habits, right? One thing I wanted to that after I was, because I actually did read this before I brought this down after ChatGTP helped me out. Hype in section 6, habits that lead to high level success, setting clear, actionable goals. Talking about what Todd talked about, intention, daily accountability. I talked about that if you weren't here in the beginning. Tomorrow, the first Tuesday of every month at 10 o'clock, here, which is tomorrow at 10 o'clock. If you have a business plan and you want to hit your goals this year, come to that meeting. It's only once a month. Only once a month. If you want to do more, we can do more, but this is just first Tuesday of the month, 10 o'clock. Okay. That's not obviously daily, but that's part of accountability. Prioritizing high value activities, continuous improvement, and self-care. I hope that you got something out of this today. It's at first I thought, oh, it'd be pretty easy. It's just tell people to get up and prospect. But my experience is if I get up and I have some healthy habits in the morning, when I come to the office and it's time for me to dive into what I call my repetitious boredom, I have just a little bit more energy to go do it. Some days I'm excited about it, but there is, if after a while, I've been calling some people in my database in my SOI for 29 years. I know there's other people in this room. I'm not going to point anybody out that have been doing it longer than I have been doing.
Hey,
But I
Mike.
learned, Claire, I'm still doing the same things that I did. I wanted the magic bullets and all that. And some of that stuff does come along where Hiram talked about. Mine's a no-brainer. I happen to use Command and I use Top Producer for 25 years. I don't know. I come in the morning and I have a list of tasks. I used to call them alarms. They're tasks now. When I take a few days off and I get 30 or 40 of them coming in, yeah, I gotta, those are the days I gotta work a little bit more and to catch up with it. But I'm not coming in here and trying to figure out what am I going to do today. So I'm going to go to Michelle and then I'm going to go over to Claire because you had your hand up.
So Mike, instead of what you call it, which is your boredom,
Repetitious boredom.
repetitious boredom,
Come up with something.
we'll call it monotonous momentum.
Monotonous momentum. I like
love that. I saw
better.
that one.
Monotonous momentum.
And I tell you what, as
Okay.
Aaron and I
Looks
were
so good in here. I
plugging-
want
we
those
were
damn things
trudging
off. I
towards
don't
the
know why they
finish
put them
line
up
on that
there.
5,000 dial challenge, and we also had another contest, another challenge going along with it.
It doesn't look level.
Doesn't?
There were
The
days,
right side is up too high.
there were days that we
I meant the left. I
struggled
meant the
so
left.
bad, and all it would take was for me to turn around and I needed her and she needed me. And I'd say, when are you going home? And she'd say, I'm going in 30 minutes. And I said, let's crank out 50. And then, let's just crank out 50. Let's go. And so we'd turn right around and just go. And then she ends up not leaving in a half hour. She turns back around. Let's go for 100. Okay, let's go for 100. So I would say to any of the new agents, get an accountability partner, because to have Erin as my accountability and as my biggest cheerleader and pushing me from behind and pulling me from the front, and we're taking turns doing that for each other, it made all the difference and it made it fun because you're not doing it alone.
Absolutely. We're not doing it alone. That's part of you come at 10 o'clock tomorrow, you're probably going to walk out of here with an accountability partner for your business plan for the year. Just saying. Just saying. Claire, did you have final thought? Thank you.
Who all have different types of practices. There's 100 ways to do real estate. Whether you're doing commercial, whether you're focusing on investment groups like, some of us do, and things along that line. Just be accountable to those people that you're serving.
Mhm.
And it's really, truly worth it and more satisfying than you can even imagine when you see the successes. I mean, we look at even focusing on the top 50 where we can actually translate that to 86 deals a year just by doing those 61 points with those people every single solitary month. It makes a huge difference.
Good. Success.
I agree.
Everybody agree? Take a look at your habits, guys. Look at the ones that you need to develop. Look at the ones that you should probably push to the wayside. And we'll do this class in 6 months and everybody will report back on our success. Yeah, true that. True that. Well, thank you for coming. Anybody got anything else? All right.